As you may all know, Ireland is among the best country in the world to live in. But why do many people not succeed in Ireland, especially the foreigners? That was just a question that was in my mind for a couple of years since I've been living in Ireland now for a long time, and I've been talking to a lot of different people from different nationality, a lot of African people, a lot of American people, a lot of Indian, Asians, and other Eastern European countries to see why most people don't succeed in Ireland. And this is all of the information I've gathered from all of those people. Firstly, there's something in Ireland called the direct provision. That's DP, direct provision. So there are a lot of people that ran out of their country due to wars or due to different political instability, that ran out of their countries and came to Ireland for security, because Ireland is one of the most peaceful countries in the world. When you are in direct provision in Ireland, you're not entitled to anything. Direct provision is like a boarding school in Ireland that when you're going out of a different country to move in Ireland, because of all of what I just said, the government of Ireland takes you and puts you in this kind of school. It's called direct provision. So in direct provision, there's a lot of people from different nationality, like the Asian, the African, and some, I don't know, Arab countries. So when you're in direct provision, you're not entitled to anything at all. Even if you have a kid in direct provision, they can avail of the free primary, secondary education in Ireland. But when it comes to university, they can't avail of free university as most people in Ireland. So direct provision kind of like hinders the growth of a lot of immigrants in Ireland, because in direct provision, you can be in direct provision from like 5 to 10 years, or from like 0 to 20 years, and you never know of the outcome. You never know if you're going to stay there for the rest of your life, because you're waiting for your Irish papers. You're waiting for what is called stand for. That's the Irish resident permit that allows you to work, that allows you to go to school, that allows you to get an education and all. Whilst in direct provision, you can't avail of any rights in Ireland. So you can't vote in Ireland if you're in direct provision. You can't even get a job in Ireland if you're in direct provision. You can't cook your own food. You can't do anything. I've been in direct provision in Cork, because you're direct provision in a lot of different cities in Ireland, even in the countryside. So I've been in the direct provision in Kinsale, Cork, and it's one of the most depressing places that you can ever think of. So you can be in there for like 20 years without having your papers, and as you know, most foreigners travel to Europe and the US to look for like greener pasture. So they might be in direct provision, and your family back home in Africa, in Asia, will be bringing them, asking for money, asking for a lot of different stuff. You've been in Europe for the past 5 years, or in Ireland, and you can't show off anything because you've been in direct provision since when you moved to Ireland. That's one of the main reasons why most foreign people, African, Asian, can't succeed in Ireland, mainly because of direct provision. That's just one way of getting in Ireland. Most people get in Ireland through direct provision. But what about the people that move to Ireland by work visa? Because there's a lot of different ways of moving to Ireland. You can either move to Ireland through direct provision, or you can either move to Ireland through work visa to work, or you can either move to Ireland by student visa. So the next one is work visa. So as you all know, there's like a lot of jobs in Ireland at the moment. Like I've done a lot of video about this, a lot of jobs in Ireland. But what most people don't know of is that when you move to Ireland, depending on the qualification that you have and depending on the country that you're coming from. Let's say, for example, I came from Africa, Cameroon, and none of the qualification in Africa, especially in Cameroon, is accepted in Ireland. So even if you've got like a bachelor's degrees in Africa, even if you've got a master's, even if you've got like, I don't know, most of the trade that's been done in Africa. So for example, if you were a nurse in Africa and you moved to Ireland, you can't just use your nursing degree that you got in most African countries. It doesn't matter if it's Nigeria, it doesn't matter if it's Ghana, Cameroon, Congo. If you're a nurse, if you're a medical doctor in those African countries, or in most African countries, you can't just move out of those African countries to Europe and just start working. So for example, imagine if you've gone to school, primary, secondary school, nursery, university, and you've done a lot of medical training to become a medical doctor. Then you move to Ireland and you can't still use your medical qualification in Ireland. You need to go through colleges or university again. You need to do a lot of exams and all of this to comply with the Irish law. So imagine someone that have gotten loans, that have taken money off people, or off the bank to move to Ireland. And once you're in Ireland with your medical qualification, it doesn't matter if you're a medical doctor, it doesn't matter if you're a nurse, all of these medical qualification, if you move to Ireland with them, you have to go back and do some professional training. You have to do some, I don't know, Irish standard of medicine, nursing, and all of that. Even if you didn't move to Ireland to nursing, anything in the healthcare anyways, if you move to Ireland, why having like a bachelor's degrees in science, and you want to work in the pharmaceutical industry, you want to work in a lot of different industry, you need to actually do a master's in Ireland. Then you can, I don't know, mix with different Irish people, know what, because most companies in Ireland look for teamwork, so you have to know like the culture, how to work with the Irish people and all of that. So most people, when they move to Ireland, the first 5-10 years, they have to adapt to all of these, and they can't succeed because of all of this. Because in order to adapt, you need to be paying for your accommodation like everyone else. You need to be paying for all of the different stuff. And most of these people that move to Ireland through just like your work visa, you still have to pay for your healthcare. So if the company that you're working in doesn't have like health insurance and all of that, chunk of your money has to go through your healthcare, because you have to pay for your healthcare, you have to pay for all of the different stuff that your company doesn't avail of. So all of these factors have made a lot of people to move to Ireland. And why moving to Ireland, they thought they were going to like be rich in like 1 or 2 years, but after staying in Ireland for like 5, 10, 15 years, most people that I know have gone back home to your home country and had nothing in return. So imagine staying here for like 10, 50, 20 years because you came to Ireland to work money, because that's what most people do. Most people move to Ireland or come to Ireland to work and send it back to your country, help your family back at home. But imagine after staying here for a couple of years and you can't even afford to take care of yourself. What about everyone back home that's waiting for you? You can't take care of them. So that's the second reason. So if you came by work visa, that's what can happen as well. What about the people that came by student visa? So if you moved to Ireland or you immigrated to Ireland by student visa, first of all, with the student visa, you don't have all the availability of someone with like a permanent resident permit, or with someone with an Irish passport, or even a stand for. So if you move to Ireland with a student visa, first of all, you can't work more than 25 hours. So even if you get a job, you can only do part-time, you can't do full-time, which that's fair enough, because if you're in a full-time education, no one expects you to be working full-time actually, because you won't have the time and you won't perform well. And most people coming through student visa don't have a permanent resident, so you have to finish first your education. Once you finish your education, then you have to get a job, and most jobs don't actually give you this permanent residency. Some people can help you with your application to get it. Some jobs can help you, but not every single job. So most of the pharmaceutical companies nowadays, actually, when you're applying for the jobs, they have a section at the bottom of it saying, if you need a sponsorship from us, we don't even want you to apply for the jobs, because it costs us money to get you to work for us, because we have to pay your normal salary, then we have to pay for your resident permit. That's like sponsoring you to get your visa and all of that. So all of these stuff make people not to like move as fast as they thought they were going to move. And even when you're working in a company, most people don't climb the ladder that fast, because the company is still on your ease. Let's say this person become a supervisor or a manager, why not having a permanent permit? One day, any of these days, they can just leave the country, because obviously they don't have your visa, your normal visa that permit them to live in Ireland. So all of these companies are kind of fishy to like make you move up the ladder. So that might make you stay in the same position for a long period of time, whereas people that have your Irish passport, EU passport, European passport can start behind you, and in a couple of years they might become your managers, they might become the director, the senior director, the vice president, president, and all of that, and you're still at the same position that you were before they even came to the company. So all of this makes a lot of people to slow down in the growth when it comes to Ireland. Not only that, even when you're looking for jobs, most of the time Once you apply for a job, most companies have to check if you've got like the sponsorship. As I said, most companies have to check if you've been in Ireland for like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years, so they know you can mix with the people that works in the company. So there's a lot of this stuff. There's this diversity and inclusion that most companies are doing nowadays. So it's kind of like unfair to most people that just move to the country and need a job as quick as possible, and it's kind of unfair to the company as well, because they need to make money. Every single company in the world want to make money, so they don't want to hire someone that would just be a burden. They don't want to hire someone that can work with the other people that are in the company. So all of this is unfair to like every single one that move from a different country to Ireland. And I think it's not just Ireland. I've worked in 2 countries at the moment. I even work in the United States of America, and it's the same issue with most people that came from different countries. Even the European people that left Europe and moved to the US to work, it was kind of the same issue. So all of this kind of hinders your progression in Ireland, and most people stay here for long and they can't even afford to have a car, they can't even afford to have a decent accommodation, they can't even afford to send your children to like distance school, to private school, even to like government school. They can't send your kid to like all of these different activities that the school wants the kid to do. So all of these factors actually makes a lot of people to think twice even before moving to Ireland or even before moving to Europe. But it shouldn't stop you from moving to Ireland or Europe.